This is going to be a video response to Lee Doran's most recent video. Wrong on peak oil, says George. It don't matter what his fucking name is. I did the mathematics, and I'm going to show you today why we actually have something to be worried about. Alright, this right here is oil production. Since the 1900s, it goes all the way up. Now, the first part I am going to focus on is 1955. 1955, right here, when we're at 5 billion barrels per oil per year in production, and I will focus to 1965 when we get to 10 billion barrels per year of billion barrels per year of production. I'm going to be using exponential growth rate, and the growth rate, I'm going to give you all the mathematics so you can see it yourself. I've already done all of them, so I'm going to focus on this one right here, 1955 to 1965. We started off with 5 billion, and here's the calculations all the way down. If you want to write all these down and do the calculations yourself, I applaud you. Please do. This is done with a 7% per year, because that is the golden rule for the doubling time, and considering we went from 1955 at 5 billion barrels of oil per year to 10 billion in 1965, I can safely say that the doubling time was 10 years, so the 7% per year calculation works. If you want to see how that is done, I will give you a very quick, simple example of that. It is basically 5 times 0.07 equals 35 plus 35, and then you just keep doing the calculation all the way down. I applaud you if you go back behind me and check my math. I want you to. Including you, Lee. I hope you do, even though I know you're not even going to watch this video. Anyway. So when you do this, the whole calculation, and add all these numbers up per year, you get 78 billion. That's how many barrels of billion barrels of oil we used in that 10 years period. Which, if you took the 15 years from 1940 to 1955, and you did the calculations, you would realize that over that time period, we produced 43 billion barrels. So we almost have a doubling time. We almost doubled from here to here in 15 years. So the production rate was actually more than 7% between 1940 to 1965. Right here, I'm going to show you this is how, right here, how you get the calculation for this. Is for people who don't know. Let's see, in the year 2000, we were at 25 billion barrels per year that we were producing, as represented right here, and we got up to 30 billion. Okay, so I take, and I to do that, you minus 25 from 25 billion from 30 billion, you get 5 billion. You divide that by the actual rate of today, which is 30 billion, and you get a growth rate of 2% per year. Now you do the long calculation, like I've done right here, and you get all the mathematics, and you add it all up, and this is how much that we produced in 10 years. Now, this right here is the largest amount that I could find on the internet well, this was the largest amount that I could find anywhere on the internet of how much oil reserves that we have. This includes everything that's already pumped up and sitting, and everything we have left in the ground. This is the largest estimate. I went based off this one, but I did the calculation. I went, you know what? I went ahead and I gave you double that, to 3 trillion. Because I understand that we're not just going to keep growing and growing and growing and growing. It's not. That's not the way. You're going to hit the peak at some point. And now, if we just kept at a steady line, I'm not giving you any growth. If we stopped right here at 30 billion per year, and we didn't have any more exponential growth at all, which I doubt would happen, especially since Lee Dorn says we haven't hit peak oil yet. So what I did was I multiplied 30 billion times 102 years, and we get 3.6 trillion barrels of oil. Now that's not where it's going to happen. We're going to reach peak oil long before that. And I'm giving you the world with this video and these calculations, because I'm going to say that the halfway mark, which is really not true, we'll hit peak oil long before this, before we produce this much oil. But at 30 billion barrels of oil per day times 51 years, we get 1.3 trillion barrels of oil. Now, if this is where I'm saying that you're going to hit peak, I'm giving you that. So in 51 years, we will hit peak oil. It's going to happen sooner than that, a lot sooner than that, because we have already pulled up more oil out of the ground than this. So we've already used more than that. I mean, in 10 years, we used that much. We used 273.71 billion barrels of oil in 10 years. And I'm just keeping this at a steady growth rate, at a steady line going straight across. No more exponential growth, no more growth at all. Even at that, you only have 51 years. So I'm kind of disappointed, because you make claims and you don't go back, Lee, and check the data, check the math, do the math. I've said it 100 times, and I'll say it again. Don't believe something until you've done your research, check the data, and do the calculations if applicable. And in this case, it is extremely applicable. Very applicable. It's all based on math. This is Darkonis, signing off.